The Catapult opened in 2013, and it was really set up to try and help create the environment where small companies can innovate and can bring their own ideas to market.
When we started, there was practically nothing providing commercial services around space, so it really is a new and emerging industry that we've helped create.
And the Satellite Applications Catapult spent its first years really building up a cluster of space capability, both through organisations and through development of skills across the country.
10 years ago, you might have seen that governments, particularly the UK government, saw space as an area where they spent money. Then I think they realised that it was actually an industrial sector in its own right, and it was an economic generator. Now governments are starting to realise that it's a national strategic asset.
They've seen the fact that space businesses, particularly the data from space, can generate all sorts of value that can be commercialised. And the UK's second to the US now in terms of private finance into the space sector.
The costs of launching into space and the costs of manufacturing in space have come down to such an extent that it's more economic and it's more beneficial to launch lots of small satellites than it is to launch one big satellite. When you're launching very many, you can upgrade them and iterate quickly on the technology they carry based on what our customers here on Earth are telling us we now need. We're moving towards an era where satellites are not going to get built on the ground and launched into space. They're going to get the raw materials launched into space, and the whole manufacturing process happens up there.
You can start to imagine the prospects for what you can create in space, and hence the benefits that can be delivered to Earth is just going to increase exponentially.
Some of the ideas about space-based solar power, the technology barriers and some of the cost barriers are getting chipped away to such an extent that, well, maybe this is viable.
You can create space-based solar power which would pay for itself in 2 or 3 years. It's that fast. If you capture the energy from space and use it to create hydrogen, then you can drive the whole of the economy. So space could actually part of the solution for achieving green hydrogen, net zero.
Space has always been critical in understanding climate change. Now we're starting to see space technology play a role in finding ways to mitigate climate change and finding ways for businesses to adapt and respond to climate change.
What space can really do is show us what's actually happening on Earth as opposed to what people are telling us is happening on Earth.
We're going to see space becoming much more embedded over the next few years. We're then going to see businesses actually doing more in space, which is going to be the real change. So, healthcare businesses, energy businesses, construction businesses, tourism businesses doing stuff in space.
It could well be that we'll see the food producing sectors will launch their own constellation in the future to actually help them provide assurance to their customers that their products have been produced to very high standards.
I would love people to recognise the opportunity, to be ambitious, to be bold. Let's grow a UK space sector that we can all be proud of.
If you represent a business that has not thought about the ways that satellite technologies might support you and give you something unique in your marketplace, have a think about it now. And if you do think of something, come and speak to us. And if you don't think of something, even more important that you come and speak to us.